Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Deanna and you're watching Orchid. I come to you today on my back deck. It's raining pretty heavily tonight, and I just wanted to tell you the story about what happened yesterday to my plants. Because I came home from work, saw some stuff, and I was pretty devastated. So yesterday I went to work and came home, and I had a lot of sun damage, significant sun damage on my plants. So I guess the background of that story is that we've lived in this house for maybe 18 months, and the sun, the position of the sun changes pretty dramatically over the year. We're not that close to the equator, so the angle of the sun varies quite a bit and it can change quite quickly. But this is a north-facing deck, and we get direct bright sun through winter. Over summer, the sun pretty much went all the way to the other side of the house, and it was just bright shade out here, but it wasn't bright enough to get many of my orchids to flower, so they actually got moved. Anyway, the sun, as I mentioned, is quite bright in winter, so you can see I've got these blinds down now. I got them installed last winter, mainly so my plants would receive some filtered light, and obviously for aesthetic reasons. Well, this is what I told my partner, it's gonna look great, it's gonna give us some privacy from the neighbors, but just quietly. I got it mainly for the orchids, and it worked really well. But I haven't had them down over summer, and I didn't think to put them down yet. I guess I hadn't realized that the sun had changed so much that these plants were actually getting a significant amount of direct light. Like, I knew it was a little bit, there was a little bit coming in the mornings, but I didn't know the extent of that. And the other thing was, I guess last week, it's actually been pretty cool. Well, pretty cool for Brisbane, I guess. It's been like 22 to 28 degrees Celsius, so really pleasant. But the temperature rose again this week, and it was very hot. It was like 36, 37 degrees Celsius. You can imagine direct light of that temperature ends up about 50 degrees on some surfaces. Like, it's more than that, and yeah, it's really, really too much. So yeah, yesterday it was like 36, 37 degrees. When I left the house, it was kind of overcast, so I mustn't have thought about it very much. And I came home to like lots of sunburnt plants, and some of them are really, really sad looking, and I won't lie, I shed a little tear or two. My partner, helped me water them, and he was really, really good about it actually, because I don't know, I was just really sad, and it made me really sad to look at my collection. Like, I looked at a couple and then just went inside, so I didn't want to see, I guess, the rest of the damage that had happened. With the change of seasons here, the sun does change dramatically, and a year in this house, it hasn't been long enough for me to figure out the best spots for my orchids. Not really. And my collection's grown significantly in the last 12 to 14 months. And so I had orchids last summer, but not nearly this many. Let me show you. This is probably one of the worst ones. This is my catasetum. Let me get it out for you. Look at this massive growth that it grew for me, and now look at it. And can you see that? There's like a significant amount of damage just on this spot, and it was very soft yesterday. It's hardened up a bit, and to be honest, I'm not sure what I should do about it. The tissue's a bit dark there, and I am concerned that it's going to develop an infection and spread, but yeah, I'm not sure. The actual plant back bulb back here is, I guess, okay, but there is also a little section here that's been burnt. I guess I just have to wait and see what happens with this one, but I saw this plant first, and yeah, the sun damage was really significant on it. So damage on the plants doesn't often make itself fully obvious for quite a few days, even up to a couple of weeks. So I'm just going to have to see whether this one makes it or not. There seems to be a lot of live tissue, but I'm not sure if that infection is going to spread, and I really don't know how to save it, if it's worth potentially saving. So yeah, I don't know if I should preemptively or prophylactically, I guess, you know, put a little bit of dragon's blood or something, or maybe see if I can dissect off a little bit of dead tissue. I don't know. At this moment, I'm thinking I'm just going to leave it, and if I notice that things are progressing, then I will probably do something more about it. So over here, out of my Vandas, there's probably one that did really poorly. So this one is Vanda Dr. Arnick crossed with Gulwadi Fragrance, and you can see all that sun damage in there. It was always a little bit worse at handling the direct sun than the others, so I'm not surprised that it fared the worst yesterday. But yeah, well, actually I lied, this is my worst Vanda. Can you see that? This is it's upside down, sorry, a Campi rigida, and the roots up here have completely desiccated. They're probably going to die off. This was a plant that had a million green root tips, really. It was doing so well. Obviously a big plant, but yeah, you can see that it's just suffered massively. Burnt to a crisp, the poor little thing. Over this side, quite a few of these plants, and I do apologise for the lighting, but yeah, they didn't get as much damage because they can handle the light a bit better. But this is a nobly type dendrobium, and you can see even these leaves are fairly yellow, but it bore the brunt of a lot of that light, as well as this Stanhope orchid, which you can see got some damage there, and some of the leaves are a little bit lighter, but yeah, that one could be worse. So at least now I know that it can handle a fair amount of light. This is my speciosum, which did very badly. Now, it already did have some sun damage and lost a few of those back leaves, but all this damage certainly wasn't there before. Like, it was a little bit shriveled, but it looks really pathetic right now. Now, thank you. The speciosum is a really hardy plant. It can handle quite a lot of sun, but because it was already probably a bit stressed, yeah, it didn't do well. And you can see a bit more damage on the leaves there. To be honest, that's pretty bad. I'm not entirely sure if it's going to make it. My frags, they got some pretty strong sun on this side as well. And you can see this is frag praying mantis crossed with something, and some sun damage on this side. And Memoria Dick Clements, which wasn't doing fantastic prior because of some mealybug damage. Yeah, got pretty burnt back there. Back here, a couple of the other catasetums. You can see that leaf damage there. This one here has leaf damage on the tips, and this is Cloecia, but when I felt it yesterday, it was soft. These new growths were completely soft, so I was very worried about it, but they've actually hardened up again, which I'm very happy about now that, you know, the water's, it's been rehydrated, and yeah. But the sun must have really come into about here, like maybe halfway along this shelf. because the ones that were kept a little bit further back probably aren't too bad. And I think a lot of these little seedlings actually aren't too bad as well, which I'm extremely thankful for. But the catasetums have had a bit of spider mite damage, and they were just, yeah, a little bit weaker and have definitely not fared as well. This shelf didn't do so great, and you can see the zygopetalums down here have really suffered. So they're not used to direct light at all. I haven't kept these zygos ever really in direct light, just because their leaves get so spotted so quickly with any direct sunlight, and so you can see that they have just not coped at all. And you can see the damage down here, but thankfully the bulb there is still intact, and it's just that outer sheath. Oh, can you hear that thunder? Let's have a look back here, but this path, you can see that there is sun damage, and it's a lot lighter, like the leaves are lighter, but it hasn't burnt as such. This is another zygo, and these leaves have burnt a little bit, but I think the plant's going to be okay. Frankie, hi. Hey there. Hey, what do you got there in your mouth, huh? What do you got there? Huh? Can I have that? What's that, hey? Oh, is it a flower? You can eat the flower. That's okay. And this is I'm very sad about this because it's one of my little favourites, but this is my Sideria japonica. And I know this one doesn't like direct light, sunlight at all. It's been burnt in the past. But yes, it's been sunburnt again. But this one will pull through, I'm sure of it. So if it gets infected, I might cut that leaf, but as long as it sort of just stays like this and there's no yellowing or not much yellowing around that border, I might just leave it, even though it looks aesthetically very unappealing. So anyway, I hope that if nothing else, you guys take away from this video to be a little bit more cautious, or I guess aware of the changing conditions with the seasons, and especially how it affects your grow spaces and your environments, particularly if, like me, you're pretty new to orchids, like you've been growing them you know, in a short period of time, or if you move to a new house or a new place and have a new grow space, that, yeah, conditions do not stay stable. The sun moves, and you just have to do what you have to do. But I do feel like maybe my plants knew I was pretty sad yesterday, because this morning I woke up to a really amazing surprise. So this is my Gongora nigrita, and I want to show you this because it is absolutely spectacular, and I'm pretty sure I won't be able to do this justice on this background. But look at this. Do you see all these amazing Gongora flowers? This is an absolutely massive spike. Let me just zoom out for perspective, because this is the plant up here. And check this out. It is just phenomenal. There are 16 flowers on it. And I will film this again properly with maybe a backdrop on it. But let me just zoom you in a little bit, because they are incredible little flowers. Look at them. I like to think they look like little dragons. But the most amazing thing about this flower spike is that every single flower opened up at once. I just came out here this morning just to commiserate once again, and the entire spike was open. And these are just simply the most phenomenal flowers. They're seriously the coolest flowers, hands down in my collection. I can't say much for the fragrance. It smells pretty weird and sour, but all up, it's not too bad. And there's the end of that flower spike. 16 flowers, guys. Not to mention, this is the second time it's bloomed in the last 2 months, so yeah. So yeah, guys, you can probably imagine how happy I was this morning to see this, because I was really sad. But yeah, I just had to share it with you because these flowers are just so amazing. Alright guys, well, I hope you all got something out of this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked this video, and subscribe to my channel if you want to see more orchid videos. I hope you guys have a great week. I hope your week is better than mine, and happy growing until I see you next time. Bye.